as though in this crisis is more like an intra-party, crisis, and we'll be jumping straight into the conversation by also having with us via phone call the national. Having with us via phone call someone who is somewhat an authority with the Labour Party. Now, who am I talking about? I'm talking about none other but Comrade Eragbe Anselm, who's a national youth leader, Labour Party. That is, in Abuja right there. So we'll be joining him via phone call to ascertaining his side or his point of view with regards to what is going on, in the party. As you well know, there have been several persons who have made positions here and there regarding the NLC Labour Party situation, where the NLC had accused Julius Abure of planning an illegal national convention, right? But then we've already joined in with our guest. A very, very good morning, Honorable Anselm Eragbe. Good morning to you.
Hello, morning to you.
Hello, Honorable, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Completely.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
That's right. Feels good to have this conversation with you today. And you are the national youth leader, of the Labour Party, right? And we are so glad to have you. Now, that being said, Honorable Comrade, I would like you to give us a little bit of a brief as to what exactly is the issue going on with the Labour Party and the NLC before we look into the position of...
The volume is quite low.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay,
so
better now.
Yeah, we would like you to give us a brief as to what exactly is the issue, the bone of contention that's going on between the NLC and the Labour Party at the moment.
Okay. Thank you, fellow Nigerians. My name is Comrade Eragbe Anselm, the National Youth Leader of Labour Party,
right,
Nigeria. Yes, there's an upheaval, as is known now, between the NLC, the Nigeria Labour Congress, and the Labour Party. It stems from the fact that there are disagreements which ordinarily were resolved. There is a consent judgment. However, remember, the Nigeria Labour Congress registered the Labour Party in 2003, then as Party for Social Democracy. The idea was to be able to have a political party that would engage and take care of the interests, welfare, another interest of Nigeria workers. So basically, the Labour Party was registered to cater for Nigeria workers' interest.
Right.
So this point must be emphasized now. So Labour Party wasn't registered like the other conventional political parties. So what they had in mind was to take care of the welfare and the well-being of Nigerian workers, primarily. Then the masses of our people, the artisans, the teachers, and the rest. So in 2002, the NLC Congress registered the Labour Party leadership. The name then was Party for Social Democracy. Then the next meeting in Bauchi, the name was changed from Party for Social Democracy to Labour Party. So, of course, the party has a life of its own. When I mean by a life of its own is the party as it were an independent, like every other political party, having its own structures. But if you look carefully, the structures of Labour Party are such that it's embedded with the Nigeria Labour Movement structures. For instance, in the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, there are 3 deputy national chairmen. So you have a national chairman, you have 3 deputy national chairmen. 1 elected at the convention, two appointed from the platform. There are two platforms, NLC and TUC.
Okay.
So we have a deputy national chairman, NLC, a deputy national chairman, TUC, then a deputy national chairman elected. Ideally, there should be four, North, South, NLC, TUC. So this is the structure. Okay. Now, NLC, TUC are represented across the structures of the party. If you look at the state executive council structure, the ward executive council structure, the local executive council structure, there are provisions in the constitution for the labor centers. You have vice chairman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have NSC, you have TUC. So what this tells you outrightly is just to indicate that the union structures are evidently captured in the party structure. Now, the president of the NLC, the secretary general, they are all net members of the Labour Party.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to give this account so that we have a clear view of what this party looks like. So this is party for the workers whose structures are embedded, whose NLC or Labour structures are embedded in the party structure, from the ward to the local government to the state and to the National Executive Council and the National Working Committee. But however, there were disagreements, and in 2018, matters were in court from 2014. By 2018, there was a consent judgment. Justice Kolawole Gabriel gave that judgment. But the high point of that judgment was a mediation. So they agreed, the warring parties agreed to settle out of court.
Okay.
So certain terms were reached for settlement. So these terms amounted to what today we call terms of settlement.
Okay.
So however, in 2022, INEC midwife a mediation process where NSC and TUC, where NSC and Labour Party signed that consent to say, okay, we'll do A, B, C, D. What were the things they needed to do? One, that the provisions of the Constitution that allowed for the representation of the Labour centers in the party be fully implemented. So, Dr. Mrs. Ladi Ilya was now appointed as the deputy national chairman, NLC. Dr. Lorufemi was appointed for TUC. Now, Alhaji Mohammed Umaru was appointed for NLC as deputy national chairman, Northwest. So these three slots have been incorporated into the National Working Committee structure of the party after the 2019 National Convention. That's one. Then two, another term of settlement was there will be 4 members of the NLC in the BOT, that's the Board of Trustees of the Labour Party.
Okay.
And the Board of Trustees of the Labour Party will be headed by Chief SOZ Ejiofor. So this aspect again has not been implemented by the party.
Okay.
Then three, the agreement was such that the terms of settlement, one of the terms, the third one was such that the Labour Party from June 2022 to June 2023 should have conducted the party congresses, which means the ward congresses to elect the ward executive, the local government congresses to elect the local government executive according to the party's designations, then the state congresses to elect the state executive council. Now, ultimately, then the national convention. So you cannot be talking of a national convention because a national convention is the climax of a political party's life activities for the period under review. So what it means is, since we were elected from a national convention in 2019 and this is 2024, ideally we should have had the convention in 2023 by June. But for us to have had that convention, what it meant was we should have been able to carry out all the congresses, elect what executive, elect local government executive, elect the state executive structure. Now, these people put together will come to the National Convention to elect members of the National Working Committee.
Okay.
So, the National Working Committee is the climax of political party activities in terms of electioneering and leadership structure. So, what Abure is now doing is contrary to what the norms and rules are. First and foremost, you are aware that we said Abure is not a valid Labour Party national chairman because the constitution of Labour Party does not permit the national secretary to assume the position of the acting national chairman or chairman. No. The only people who can occupy the position of the chairman are the deputy national chairman, which in our case we have two deputy national chairmen, men. Yeah. Maria Lebeke, Mrs. Maria Lebeke, and Alhaji Lamidi Bashira Papa, who were elected from the 10th June 2019 National Convention in Akwanga, Nasarawa State. But however, illegality took place in one of our net meetings on the 29th of March 2021 because our chairman passed on, Salam, may so rest in peace, 29th of December 2020. And on 30th of December 2020, the NWC met, we appointed Maria Lebeke, who was the Deputy National Chairman North, because the late chairman came from the North. So that was the proper thing. She was nominated, we voted and ratified our appointment. We went for a net meeting, that was 30th December 2020. So we called a net meeting on 29th of June 2021, after 90 days, just within 90 days, to ratify that acting appointment for substantive national chairmanship. But we had the option of either ratifying Maria Lebeke in Benin as national chairman or Alhaji Lamidi Bashira Papa. But a very funny thing happened there.
Okay.
Abayomi Arabambi moved a sole motion for the nomination of Abure, who then was the national secretary. There was a conspiracy, and before you knew, you know, our political crowd. So Abure eventually came back from that next meeting as national chairman, which is against the provision of law of the Constitution.
All right, if that's the case, right? It is also out there in public domain the fact that the NLC, as many are saying that the NLC.
The network, maybe you may just raise your voice a bit. I can't hear very well.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now, yes.
All right. And now there is a saying that says that the NLC is accusing Julius Abure of planning an illegal national convention, and that they are demanding his resignation as the LP national chairman. And they're also alleging financial misconduct and disregard for democratic processes. It now brings the question of whether or not the NLC does have a legal basis for demanding Abure's removal, and what credibility are there, you know, for with the allegations against him.
Okay, let me say categorically that the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, have every legal authority and standing to have made those demands. Remember, I have just said the NLC is the owner of the Labour Party, that's one. Two, there is a consent judgment that provided for an all-inclusive national convention and party activities between the Labour Party and the NLC structures. So those were the structures I highlighted earlier to give the public an insight. Now, concerning the issues against Abure and their legality. Now, remember the NLC recently shut down the party secretariat nationwide.
That's right.
Calling the national convention proposed by Abure as illegal. Yes, it is illegal. Let me say this quickly. The first point of illegality in the Congress, in the convention, is this, proposed by Abure. Now, 20 of us were elected from the last national convention, 20. Now, if you look at the list, Abure is parading as members of the Labour Party National Working Committee. 90% of the people on that list are fake.
Fake
They
in
are
what
not
sense? What do you mean
members
by
of
fake?
fake.
In
When I
what
mean
sense?
fake, you cannot be a member of the Labour Party National Working Committee if you are not elected from the National Convention or appointed from the slots due to the NFC and the TUC. So what we have found is a situation where Abure over time has unilaterally assumed a larger than life attitude under the guise of suspending NWC members. There is no provision of law that gave Abure any such powers. If there are disciplinary measures, you can only resort to the neck. Go through to third majority of vote cast will decide the fate of any members of the party. So none of this has been done. So for instance, the list Abure party, the first illegality is to the point where, for instance, Maria Lebeke, the deputy national chairman Labour Party, is not on that list, did not call for a national convention. Alhaji Lamidi Bashora Papa elected, did not call, is not there. Iraqbe Anslem as national youth leader did not sign for a convention and is not there. Akingbade, the national treasurer Oluchi, the national financial secretary. You go on and on and on and on and on. The deputy. So all of these persons who are the valid authority to have called for a convention have not called for a convention. So where did Abure get the names of people he's parading as Labour Party NWC members? That is one. Then two, the stakeholders, the NSC, the TUC, the caucus. When I mean the caucus, today we have about 8 senators, 36 House of Representative members, or 38, then another 38 state assembly, or 46 state assembly. So these are the caucus of the party structure. Peter Obi himself, none of these persons is aware of what Abure is doing. 3, there was never a time where the party, so far so good, has elected a new structure from the ward to the local government to the state executive. Because the existing structure, remember Abure was restrained by FCTI court, and all the state structures within were suspended. Because why? They violated the provisions of the law. They ran illegal net meeting in Asaba on the 18th of April 2023. And Abure went to Imo Bayelsa to be conducted illegal governorship primaries while he was on subsisting FCTI court restraining order. So Abure himself is under the party suspension, other than being under the FCTI court restraining order. So Abure had no locus, however, to carry on the party's activity, notwithstanding that recently the Court of Appeal upheld his leadership as the chairman. But remember, this same matter, Abure was on a restraining order from 5th of April 2023 until 6th of March 2024, when the Court of Appeal held the Abure be the chairman, even though that matter has been appealed. So what I'm telling the world today is to say all that happened from 5th April 2023 to 6th March 2024, which is this month, Abure had no locus. Remember, Abure again went to Edo State, conducted gubernatorial primaries, for which so these are a whole gamut of illegality, unconstitutionality, criminality. Now, criminality is to the point where Abure has been indicted by the Nigeria Police Force Criminal Investigation Department, who conducted an investigation with forensic audit and found out that Abure committed perjury, forgery, and criminal conspiracy. Perjury because Abure forged court document, FCTI court affidavit, seal, payment, TSC payment receipt. So, and uploaded this information on the INEC portal, forging withdrawal letters and signature of eligible, validly nominated candidates, removing their nomination from the INEC. These things are in evidence. So, the Inspector General of Police, after that investigation, has written an authorization to the Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice with effect from on the 25th of October 2023 for the prosecution of Julius Abure, Umar Farouk Ibrahim, Ojukwu Clement, the National Organized Secretary, and the beneficiary of that crime. So all of this information in the public domain. So Abure, like I say always, Abure is not an honorable man, because for God's sake, if it were an allegation, maybe anybody's levying against you. No, this is a case where the relevant authorities in Nigeria have conducted this investigation, and indicted Abure and his team and recommended them for prosecution.
So is it okay to say that there are two factions running simultaneously in the Labour Party at the moment?
Well, but Nigerians should know that there is one Labour Party. Now, the reason we can say there is faction is because Abure has refused to obey the laws.
All right, but that being
Abure was because Alhaji Lamidi Bashir Papa, who was the acting national chairman at the time, was a valid acting national chairman, because the NWC, after the FCT High Court restrained Abure, nominated and appointed Alhaji Apapa, then the deputy national chairman, to act as acting national chairman.
Okay.
He acted from that time, up to 30th November 2023, when that acting tenure expired. So we were supposed to have renewed that acting tenure, because mind you, Abure was on a restraining order.
That's right.
But because we couldn't sit in neck, because we have to do these things constitutionally.
Okay.
So as I'm talking now, there is a vacuum which is not allowed in law in the Labour Party, because until we are able to meet and either ratify Alhaji Apapa or Maria Lebeke, that is why now we have advised the NSC as the major stakeholders to call for a stakeholders meeting where the elected NWC members of the party from the 2019 convention will now appoint between Apapa and Maria Lebeke, and we vote to ratify the appointment.
Okay.
Then we have a new leader for the party.
Okay.
So yes, we can say there is faction in the party, but that is because Abure has refused to obey the law.
But it also seems as though he has some backing from the appeal court. But then I'll put a peg to your thoughts. I've got to pay some bills. When we come back, I'll engage you again. And of course, we'll talk about whether or not the convention, the planned convention, is taking place already, and what role your wing of the of the LP has played in ensuring that sanctity is restored with the Labour Party. We'll engage you in a short bit, right? The conversation is still trends. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be right back with Eagles Outlook right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Don't go away.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio. Eagles 102.3.
Hi there. Do you want to know how to get the correct approval or documents for your land and property? Do you need the right information on how you can prevent your building from being demolished? Then tune in to Town Planning Program on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Thursday by 5 p.m.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It is still Eagles 102.3 FM's Eagles Outlook right here on Eagles 102.3 FM, and we are that station that gives you a radio experience that you can count on. We're still having a conversation with the national youth leader of the LP, that's talking about the Labour Party, and he has been having this discourse with us. Are you there, comrade? Are you there? All right.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes.
You just need to
I'll wrap up.
increase your volume a bit.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Now, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. So it seems as though at some point there has been wide condemnations for the NLC's actions. On the LP secretariat right there, where even the Apapa faction supports, the Abure faction, condemning the NLC's action and alleging political insurrection, calling for Ajiro's, arrest. Now, it now brings to bear, some questions, right? is this to say that there is now a cohesion going on with these two factions as one against the NLC?
Talking about, sorry if I heard you well, because it's quite faint. Talking about faction and calling for arrest. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, talking about calling for arrest. If there's anybody that should be arrested and put behind the bars, it's Julius Abure. Yeah, because it is clear now that the relevant authorities in Nigeria have indicted Abure on the facts before them. Perjury, forgery, criminal conspiracy. A man of this dented image should not, by any means and standard, preside over a public institution, also like that of Labour Party.
Yeah. In that regard, as the LP presidential candidate, Peter Obi had any conversation in this regard? Because we have noticed that he's been quite quiet or silent. He has kept mum on the matter. What role has he played so far?
Well, the much I know, with respect to the position of the party's leader,
yes,
the presidential candidate 2023, His Excellency Peter Obi, is that Peter Obi himself has mediated. I'm aware. I was with him just a few days ago. I think the day before yesterday. He spoke for an hour thereabouts, and it was very explicit. Peter Obi had to travel to Delta. He had a meeting with Abure there, and some other person around him on the need for why Abure should heed the voice of the elders of the land to say, do an extensive and wide consultation. Meet the relevant stakeholders, agree with them on the way to go about this, and put up the planned national convention, because this is not how to go about a national convention, for God's sake. The national convention of the party is not a secret court or a secret activity that you'll be doing behind the windows or somewhere. So it's an open event that all stakeholders will be involved. The NLC, the TUC, the NWC, the state structure, the party caucus, I'll just mention them. So this is not done. His Excellency Peter Obi has similarly met with the caucus, the senators, the House of Representatives, the elected members of the party, and the party's elders at different levels. So he has done all of this, the much I know, and that is the much he could do. He has advised Abure what to do and what not to. But Abure has refused to heed the voice of advice.
Okay.
So Abure is bent on entrenching his own illegality on the system, which will not fly.
Okay. All right.
It won't fly because the stakeholders of the party are unanimous to the point where this illegal national convention will not hold and it will not stand. NLC has listened to INEC and made his position known and read to security agencies, the DSS, the police, to say whatever Abure does will become illegal because this convention is illegal. And I've just stated clearly earlier to say those of us who are the authority to agree are not part with Abure. So where did Abure get the list of these persons he's parading to go and conduct a national convention? And the structures upon which a convention should be conducted are not on ground.
So is there a convention? Is there a convention going on now?
Yeah. Hello?
Because the Abure had already said that the planned convention was still going to go ahead. Is there a convention going on now?
Yeah, just like we said, of course, he can say it will go ahead, but the owners of the party and the leadership and the structures have all insisted that convention is illegal. I have given enough points to enumerate why it is illegal, because the processes leading to a convention are not met. We have not conducted what Congress is to elect those structures. We have not elected the local government structures. Neither have we elected a new state executive council structure across 30 states and FCT. So these are the structures ultimately from where delegates will be elected for a national convention. So a national convention is not an event that is done by proxy. It's a procedural event that begins with the election of the structures at the world, local government and state levels, then upon which delegates will be elected. It is those delegates that will come to a national convention to elect people vying for offices into those chairman, deputies, and other national youth leaders and other offices. So Abure cannot now use the old structures that don't even exist now to now go and conduct a national convention. So this is the illegality in the process.
Some are saying that the LP has some autonomy outside the NLC. Is that true?
Now, talking about autonomy, like I said, for Nigerians listening to what I've said, if you pick up the constitution of the Labour Party, you would have seen how, of course, the LP has an autonomy. It's a political party of its own.
Good.
But its autonomy is not without restriction, to the point where the NLC, the TUC, are statutory members. Are you with me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are statutory members of the Labour Party. By statutory, I mean the NLC has the Deputy National Chairman NLC, the TUC has the Deputy National Chairman TUC, the BOT, which is the advisory structure of the party, has composition drawn from NLC, TUC. So the autonomy, if you want to talk about autonomy, the Labour Party does not have autonomy to the exclusion of the statutory function and role of the NLC and TUC in the party.
All right, that being said,
Abure cannot now assume an autonomy by any standard, because Abure is just one of the 20 or 32 NWC structure. So 1 over 32 is Abure.
All right, so that being said,
so we have the BOT that has about 40 members.
Yes.
So the BOT say we are not part, NW say we are not part, Labour say we are not part, TUC say so. The caucus, elected party officials, senators, governor, Alex Oti, all of these persons say we are not part. So where is Abure getting his legitimacy and authority to carry out action?
It brings us to the final question. Just before I let you off, it will now be the matter that concerns, what do you think could be the possible, solution to ameliorating or bringing back the peace within the Labour Party, at a time like this, especially when there are persons, people of influence who have come out to saying that that peace should be given a chance. The likes of Ebon Adeborua, the likes of Dr. Alada Mohammed, Professor Sylvester Kane, they've all come out to observe the importance of respecting democratic processes, the autonomy and transparency in resolving the conflict between the NLC and the Labour Party. So what do you think, should be the way forward at this time like this?
Okay, thank you very much. The way forward has to be a legal way forward, procedural way forward. Because, again, Abure has lost all sense of entitlement. First and foremost, his tenure, his illegal tenure anyway, no longer subsists. Because we need to put on record to say, ideally, our constitutional tenure for this party expired June 2023, ordinarily. But of course, Abure conducted an illegal process, which is still illegal, while we did the other part, which terminated November. So there are lacunas created.
Okay.
But the first thing to do for a way forward would be for NLC, because of the lacuna now that has been created by time, exclusion of time, tenure expiration, vacuum created. Abure does not have legitimacy on the one hand, and two, for there to be legitimacy, there has to be a consensus. The stakeholders, NLC, will now have to convey a stakeholders meeting where the NWC and party stalwarts, caucus, will now meet, review the issue in the presence of INEC, the DSS, and the Nigerian police, and agree on how to proceed.
Okay.
The first thing will now be from amongst the NWC, a leadership structure will have to be composed, where Maria Lebeke, the Deputy National Chairman North, Alhaji Lamidi Abubakar, the Deputy National Chairman South, will be thrown up for voting. We'll have to vote and ratify one of them as the acting national chairman who will lead the transition process.
Yeah.
So in that transition, all elected NWC members will retain their position in the transition because that's the normal process.
Okay.
Now we'll have to now include other stakeholders now from the state, the BOT, and the rest, and form a comprehensive caretaker committee structure that will lead a transition, probably 6 months, to run the process as agreed in the terms of settlement. We have to now conduct what congresses to elect what executive. Maybe in April, then by May we conduct a local government congress or congresses to elect the local government party structure.
Okay.
By June, probably we conduct a state congresses to elect the state executive structure for the 36 states and FCT. Then by July, probably we conduct a process to appoint the BOT based on constitutional provision for the 40 membership. By August to September, now by August probably we conduct, or September, a delegate process to now decide who from all of these elected structures, how many delegates from the world, from the local government, from the state structures, and the BOT will now be elected to come for a national convention.
All right.
So it is this delegate that will now be able to elect all those who throw themselves up for contest to vie for the respective NW positions.
Okay, let me
so
put a
that
blank.
becomes a legitimate process for Labour Party to have laid a formidable foundation. So this is the way to go, and this is what we must do, and this is what must be done.
Okay.
So this is the process.
Let me put a peg to your thoughts as we take this call right now. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Doctor. Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Paul from Karu.
All right, Paul, very quickly, you've got 1 minute, and let's have your take.
Yes, Doctor, good morning to your guest. I want to ask a very simple question here, because as a worker, I'm so disappointed with the infighting within the political system, within the Labour Party.
Okay.
My question to your guest is this: is there no internal mechanism in settling all these conflicts? Because as a worker party, I expected that it would be the workforce that would put the sitting political party on their toes by playing positive and democratic opposition.
Okay.
So all these infighting, honestly, as a worker, I'm not happy. I'm so disappointed with the system. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, right there, Paul. All right.
Okay. Thank you quickly.
Yeah.
Now there are internal mechanisms enumerated in the constitution of the Labour Party on how crisis can be dealt with.
Okay.
Now these are the mechanisms. First and foremost, in the NWC, because the National Working Committee members are the administrators, the day-to-day administrators of the party. So in between the next meeting and the National Convention, the NWC members like us, elected for the convention, administer the party.
Okay.
So whenever there are issues, first and foremost, we sit down as NWC and look at the dispute, resolve them, agree. Now, if we are unable to agree, we send that disagreement to the National Executive Council. So a NEC meeting is called. The NEC comprises the elected NWC members, the State Executive Council structure, the State Chairman and Secretary, and probably maybe 1 or 2 other officials.
Okay.
Now, the BOT structure, there are 40 member BOT, then the party caucus.
So these are the processes.
In the next meeting, so all of these persons constitute the net of the party.
Okay.
So we bring such matters to the net for deliberation and decision.
Okay.
Even when it becomes so difficult, we vote.
All right.
Until 2/3 majority of the members present vote in favor or against a particular motion, it will not stand.
All right.
So these are the internal resolution
mechanisms
mechanisms of the party.
Okay.
But all of these things are not done. But Abure, like we say, it has become obvious. Abure has assumed a larger than life attitude. So that when everybody say no, only Abure say yes, and he's running by himself.
All right.
So this is the issue.
Yeah, let's open the phone
So
lines.
NSC has to put his feet on the ground now as the owner of the party
Okay.
to be able to address this.
Yeah,
the first approach will now be to use the dispute resolution mechanism,
Okay.
which is picketing.
All right.
So they have to
Before
protect
you go
Labour
ahead.
Party and shut down the structure
Yeah.
to bring them to the table.
All right, let's open the phone line still so the Nigerians can have more questions to ask. 0907-353-0044 is that number to call. The other number is 0908-766-8888. The WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. If you would agree, if you like, I would advise that you quickly scribble your message via the WhatsApp very quickly. Just type the message for want of time so that we can take it very quickly, just in case we're not able to take your call. And please make the call, your question, very straight to the point. Taking this call. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I'm calling from Jabi.
All right.
Yes, I want to ask your guest. I want him to be sincere with us. He should tell us the monetary incentives that is there for the officials of the Labour Party, from the minimum to the maximum wage that they collect. Because I believe resignation will not be possible, or will be possible when huge or small money is involved. They should tell us how much do they earn being the officials of the Labour Party, the minimum and the maximum. Thank you.
All right, you heard it. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes. Did you heard the question? Yeah. Hello. Hello. Okay, that is a miss. Seems like we're having a bit of a technical issue right there, but we will get our guest back on track, right? And you can keep bringing in the questions. Like I said, you can get on to the WhatsApp portal number and make your message or your expression known via the WhatsApp portal number, which is 0909-705-4450. And you can as well call the studio line 0907-353-0044. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Alamin from Central. I have two questions for our guest. The first question is, what faction of the Labour Party does it belong to? Does it belong to the Abure faction, or it belong to the Papa faction? Then secondly, I heard this, said, try to, clamp down and delegitimate Abure, and I completely disagree. Because if he's saying Abure is illegitimate, then it means that presidential candidate is also illegitimate, because all of the actions of Abure was sanctioned by Peter Obi and the entire obedience movement. We saw how Apapa was humiliated because of a thing in Abuja. So when suddenly did they realize that Abure was illegitimate, because they sanctioned 100% every action that Abure himself took, including Peter Obi himself. Up until now, as we speak, Peter Obi recognizing Abure as the candidate, as the chairman of the party. So where is all of this coming from our guest? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you right there for your question. And we're still trying to connect with our guest right now ever since the failure on the network, but it seems as though we cannot just get back and get through to him. And but then there are still many conversations going on at the moment, right? And hopefully, just before we call it a wrap, we should be able to get through with him. But then let's still take your calls. Hello, good morning.
Jack, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's your name, please?
I'm great. I am great.
All right, great.
Doctor's advice, from the start, I have not any time to err on what I think, it does not work the why. But
Sorry?
all of them,
I think
for my doctor's advice, based on the fact that I don't have time to waste my head time on that. No basis. All of them, as far as I'm concerned, are hawks. It's only P2B I mean. They are only idiots.
Oh no, come on. Who is this? I don't know. When we get so pained, we begin to also act like we act out of line. That is so not good, please. That is so not good. Wouldn't be tolerated, please. Don't call this radio station and say things that that only animals should begin to say, because I have to put it that way. It doesn't make sense coming up here and name calling, persons just like that. Please, that doesn't make sense. You want to talk about what's going on, talk about what's going on and stop the name calling, right? Even the animals will do better in that regard, please, right? I mean, we've said this enough. We should not continue to allow such to go on. If we should have a discourse, this discourse should be very intellectual, right? And ask the right questions. I mean, it's really sad. But anyways, though, there has been some salient questions that have been asked, and all of that, every effort to get through to the guest has proven abortive. But then it just goes on to the place where there are many concerns. Nigerians are concerned, about the risk of escalating conflict between the NLC and the LP, the potential destabilizing of the party, and how it might also hinder the ability to function effectively. There is also the concern of the impact of the dispute on Labour Party's credibility, right? And then some are saying that it might also affect the internal cohesion and even the electoral prospect when you look into the Labour Party's future and what they stand for. And that there is also, another angle and concern that encapsulates the need for some transparent and inclusive dialogue to addressing the grievances and resolve the conflict, especially while upholding democratic values and principles. Now, the likes of Patu Tomi of the National Consultative Front had called for peace and dialogue as a means to bring in some solution to the ongoing rancor or wrangling that's going on with the NLC and the LP, and they've also emphasized the importance of unity and inclusivity within the party, right? And so that's just it. Now, you've heard from him already. He is and Mr. Eragwe right there is a comrade, and he is the national youth leader of the Labour Party, and yes, he's had that conversation with us. We hope to bring him into the studio in the coming days so that we can have this conversation by proxy, as in it should be here, so that it becomes easier. So it was a bit late to fix the entire situation, just to connect and all of that, and that's why once again I apologize for coming up late on the show. But thank you so much for your eventful contribution, participation, and looking forward to more intelligent conversation from us. And together, of course, we would drive the Nigerian polity into a better and safe place where we will be proud, and the generations to come would be proud as well, looking back and saying that we did our best to speak in truth to authority. My name is Udwak Daniel, and this is where we call it a close on the show.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number one radio experience you can count on.